What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to PlayStation Generation episode 25. My name's Matt, and I'll be your host for today's events. I'm joined, as always, by the PlayStation Hokage himself, Mr. Rice. Boy, what's up, Rice?
Hi. Hey, everybody. Welcome in.
Hey.
I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry.
Don't ever be sorry.
I'm not sorry, actually.
Don't
I'm not
be
actually
good.
sorry. I just
Good.
said it.
Good. You're just being Canadian.
Canadian.
Canadian, some would say.
Super Saiyajin.
Super Saiyajin Canadian. I love it. That is incredible. And of course, the one, the only, the dying streamer. Nope, not gonna run with that way. He's either dying. I don't like that at all. I regretted it as it came out of my mouth. I think the conversation we had right before we went live, Denny, just got stuck in my head.
It did.
What's up, Denny? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. I have a weird energy today because it's been one of those days. For all of us Sony ponies today, the PS5 Pro pre-orders went live. The 30th anniversary stuff went live or didn't. We're gonna get into all that, and I have stories. You know, when like World War I or II, when like they would like send carrier pigeons. You know what I mean? And they'd be like, "Oh, dear Wilhelm, I just want you to know about what happened to me today. How was your day? What are you wearing? Love, Esmeraldine." You know what I mean? So I'm gonna write a little note like that and send it off, and I'll catch it back up with it in a little bit. Because today we're gonna talk about PS5 Pro. We're gonna talk about State of Play. We're gonna talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Horizon costs more now, so please be excited about that. But before we do all that, I want to know, Danny, my dude, let's start with you this week. What have you been playing?
Oh, I switched it up today, this week. After watching
Destiny 2?
No. What do I want? But no, it does start with. No, it doesn't start with it. What am I talking about? Holy shit.
Letters.
Yeah, no, because we watched State of Play, and I was like, you know what? One game I haven't tried yet is Ghost of Tsushima, so I finally hopped in. I played it for a couple hours.
Oh, you are in for a treat, sir.
It's no good.
I'm so excited for you, dude. I'm excited to hear what you think as you go. So you're early hours in, a couple hours in.
I think I just got my butt handed to me too many times the tutorial. So, but yeah, no, I finally opened up the world map. I've just been exploring and having a good time, man. It's great.
Man, what truly one of the biggest surprises and best games of last generation, even extending into this one. Expansion's fantastic. Combat's great. One of my favorite open worlds, I would say. I feel like there is the perfect amount of content. None of it feels wasted. It feels like a good amount of things to do and things to check out. Really, really excited for you to sink your teeth into it. And I'm excited to hear more next week.
For sure.
Rice, my boy, what you been playing? And if it's Dragon Dogma 2, it's okay.
You know, that's not the answer. That's
Dragon Dogma 1?
Okay, maybe a little bit of that. Because the kiddo has been sick this week, so I have been preoccupied with just standard dadding and making sure that he's doing all right. So me and Beck have kind of been tag teaming. She works from home, so and I work at a site, so it's just been a little bit of juggling here and there. But I've had my handheld with me, so a little bit of Dragon's Dogma, but not much else outside of that. I have just been following up on news after the State of Play. Your reactions were great, you guys. That was really fun to watch with you. And just really honing in on the online space and what the community's chatter is about right now regarding State of Play. So I'm excited to dive in.
You've been just playing the game of life, my friend.
Just the game of life.
Catching snot before it hits the floor, dodging viruses like your Indiana Jones, dodging explosive carrier pigeons. I've never seen any of those movies, so I don't know. If that, in my mind, he's definitely dodged some carrier pigeons that were like exploding. Okay,
referencing movies you have not seen.
Yeah,
It is wild.
Yeah, it's like in Back to the Future when the bomb is in the car, and that's why they go to the past. You know?
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
The T-Rex eats it, and everybody lives happily ever after.
Yeah, and they just start. They are Adam and Eve.
Oh, God.
Rick and Morty are the characters, right? In Back to the Future.
Oh, absolutely.
They are become like Adam and Eve. They restart civilization.
They are become.
Yeah, they are become.
That's grammar that I have not really dove into yet.
That's almost poetic.
Thank you. That was my English major really coming through here. Really just cementing the fact that I spent a lot of money on a piece of paper I don't use.
How very eloquent of you, sir.
Yeah. You know, I told you I'm in a weird headspace this week, and we're rolling with it.
I love it.
Yeah, buddy. Well, I'm glad that you have been spending some time on the handheld. I hope the little one feels better soon. And you get to return to the world of Dragon's Dogma 2 and fight some Cyclops singular, Cyclops plural. It stays the same. I think
Cycloporians, actually.
Oh, that sounds like an Eevee evolution. I hope to God we never get an Eevee evolution that has one eye, because that is cursed.
Ooh, that's cursed.
That is cursed. As for myself, I have been playing an absolute ton of a game that I can't talk about, so we'll talk about that in the future. So we're just gonna keep on rolling. And before we get into the state of play, I want to start with the state of play, not the state of play, the PS5 Pro today. For all of the folks worldwide over, we got a lot going on today. The PS5 Pro went live for pre-orders. The PS5 anniversary stuff went live as well. The price of the PS5 Pro bundle kept a mystery until literally point of sale. Hilarious. Scummy fucks the world over. People in Australia, there's a retailer that locked the PS5 Pro 30th anniversary edition behind a membership, and you had to have the paid for membership to be able to get a chance to get the anniversary. Canada, it went live out of nowhere at Best Buy. Best Buy's site broke entirely today and had a whopping grand total for all of Canada. Okay, I want you guys to guess. Did either one of you follow along with what was going on today?
No,
not today. No.
Perfect. Then I want you to tell me. I want your guess. Out of the 12,300 units that were allotted for this thing worldwide, how many do you think Best Buy, the only retailer where it went live for today, how many units do you think they had?
7.
Love the energy.
Wow. 100.
150 units.
Wow.
Wow, dude.
Their site was so broken today, like got absolutely railroaded from every end. People had things in carts, and it would literally take anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes just to get to checkout, if you were able to get to checkout.
That's wild.
The controller, I was sitting in literally in the cart at 10 until 10:40 before Walmart put theirs up, and I was able to snag a controller there, because those controllers on Best Buy, I don't know if people got them. Did not get the 30th anniversary bundle, obviously, because it was an impossible gong show.
Of course.
And fate was not on my side. But we'll see what happens. GameStop is evidently getting them as well, but they don't know how much, and they don't know what they're doing. I don't know if this is going to be like a blood sport in a Skydome situation, or what's happening with it to be able to get one from them, but it's a mess.
I would never buy a console from GameStop after this generation.
Yeah, that's a whole other episode, brother.
That's a whole other episode, because I think what it makes it seems like they say that they're not doing stuff online, but GameStop, people have been calling it GameStop employees, and they're saying that they are going to do stuff online eventually, and some are saying they have no idea what's going on, and some are saying it's in store only. So it's obviously a nice miasma of information. But I got the controller. I pre-ordered a PS5 Pro. Just base.
Can we just admit me and Denny were talking about this the first time we talked about it on this podcast, and we're like, he's totally gonna get a PS5, bro. He's getting one, no doubt.
I am a weak man, okay? who has so much FOMO. A lot. Like, I just want you guys to know this, okay? I have a Steam Deck, right? I use it with Chiaki to remote play to my console. It works great. Do you know how much it still eats at me that I don't own a Portal? I have no functional use for this thing, but because I don't have it, I almost bought one today. I almost was just
Should
like,
have gone the 30th anniversary one.
I had it in cart and I was like, in for a penny, in for a pound. And then I was like, my wife will kill me. Like she was even ride or die. If she's like, if you get that 30th Pro, it's $1,500 at the after tax. We'll figure it out. You know, you're going to sell some stuff. We'll get there.
Love.
But I know if I came to her and I was like, I copped a controller and a Portal, she would have been like, what are you doing? It's not even what you want.
Listen, man, I no, truly though, like I'm still happy for people who are, you know, lobbying it and you know, who are aiming to get a PS5 Pro. I seriously want people to get the PS5 Pro. You know, at the end of the day, it's just a numbers game.
The PS5 Pro itself is still up for pre-order. You can still get it.
Right.
It's sold out on a couple retailers, but it's still available. Like you can get just the base one. It's the 30th Pro.
It's nostalgia, man.
Yarded in the chat, are you going to think about the 30th Pro every time you look at your normie Pro? JK, LOL. I might have to like turn this thing away from me. You know, when I get, I might have to like hide it behind something and just like think that I have the 30th anniversary one. I haven't given up hope entirely. I'm still going to try and see maybe Amazon comes through in some way, shape, or form. Maybe GameStop starts talking about it. Maybe I find somebody who has one and do some illegal things. But you know,
there you go.
We'll see what happens. But I just wanted to touch base with you guys. Did you guys cop anything? Were you on the hunt? I know today was a bit crazy. Were you guys able to get anything?
Denny?
No, nothing for me.
Not a chance.
Okay.
I'll just say this right up front. Like I won't be, you know, a day one PS5 Pro. But
day two.
There are conversations. Day two.
Day two.
I'm busy that day. I have exactly the next day.
There are conversations.
Okay.
Being had, and there just needs to be the proper, you know,
massaging.
You know, exactly. You know, just there are things that I need to live up to and really just deliver. You know, before this happens. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not having that thing right off the bat. You know, I can live vicariously through Matt for a while,
which would be like the healthy way to handle it. And not hyper focus on it and convince myself that I need it. And even after talking so much shit and saying I don't need a disc drive, I pre-ordered the stupid one with the disc drive. I don't know why.
Good for you.
I don't know why I'm spending the extra $100. I have like 3 physical games.
I champion you, sir.
Bro,
At least now you can play those 3 games.
Yeah, I'm saying, right? I know. And like I literally had a friend on WhatsApp who's like, I really want this stuff. I don't know how to do it. I'm like, I will guide you. I will be your Sherpa. I will send you links. You just follow the things. Multiple tabs up everywhere. Yarden, once again, I just want to know why 12,300 and why not 30K? Yarden, go get hired by PlayStation. For the love of God. You would think the 30th anniversary 30K would make sense. They could have done 300K and this thing still would have sold out.
100,000%, man. Or 300,000%.
Or 12,300%.
Wow. Are you sure you weren't a math major?
Bro, if I was a math major, I don't think I would have left university. I think I'd still be there to this day.
100,000.
You guys know why they picked that number though, right?
Please. If you genuinely know, please tell me. And if you don't know, tell me anyway.
It's the release date of the original PlayStation was December 3rd.
Oh, no way. Oh my God.
Bryce, it's really nice to have somebody intelligent on here with us.
I know, holy shit. That's a deep ass cut. That is a deep ass cut.
For quite a while, it was like 3 differently shaped wheels on a car that desperately needed 4 working ones. Denny comes in and he's just like, let me put some training wheels on these idiots and at least help them understand why things are. Okay.
No kidding, dude. You got the numbers. All right. That's cool. I mean, outrageous, but cool.
Yeah. I still hate it. But
yeah, I know, exactly.
I just understand why it is.
Still not a number I like.
But... No. Like, come on. They should have just done like whatever the proper number would have been. You know,
absolutely.
Whatever. It is what it is. We ride on. Let's leave the PS5 Pro behind us. To everybody who fought for one today, I hope you got what you were looking for.
Yes.
If you didn't, I hope that it helps. Jaden in the chat, Denny always providing insight out of left field. I'm telling you, he just like sits there and he's looking at us like these two fucking morons. Let me when they both stop talking, let me get an edge and explain to them why things make sense.
I was thinking about this the other day, and like I was like, maybe Denny just uses his second screen. And whenever I'm on these calls, I'm just looking at us talking shit. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I have a dual screen setup. I can use this to actually pull shit up.
Again, I just feel like there's just too much knowledge going on in here right now.
Man. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. Let's cut over to some news. Let's hit with before we get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast, which will be the state of play. Let's hit on a news story that broke in the last couple of days, because coming from VGC, written by Tom Ivan, Ubisoft delays Assassin's Creed Shadows drops traditional season pass model. The move comes after Star Wars Outlaws failed to meet expectations. Ubisoft has delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows from this year to early 2025. It is now coming out on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2025, instead of the November 15th planned release date. It is also departing from its traditional seasons pass model. Seasons pass, Star Wars Outlaws failed to meet expectations. And here's some of the stuff that's going on. The game is currently feature complete, but they want more time to polish and basically bug fix, so they're doing themselves until then. No more seasons pass. All players are going to get the game on February 14th. There's no like if you prepay, you're going to get it 3 days early anymore. They're doing away with that. Anybody who does pre-order the game will get the first expansion for free. So it seems like there won't be an additional cost to it, at least if you pre-order. Maybe there will be, just expansion-based pricing moving forward. And it's now also hitting Steam on day one. It's not going to Ubisoft Connect and then later coming to Steam. It is now coming to Steam day one. Ubisoft seems to be a little bit on fire, my friends. The board of directors or whatever are now launching an internal investigation into their own company, because they're like, what is happening? They've had, I don't think miss after miss, because I don't think Star Wars Outlaws was a bad game, and I don't think Shadows would have been either. Agreed. I just think that they've had a number of games hit below what their expectations were at. It's Star Wars. You think that they would, kind of, smoke that out of the park in terms of sales. And I think word of mouth, the way that the game ran, and some of the bugs, because they were present, just kind of missed. But wild. I know Mirage was delayed for a little bit, but I think this is the first mainline Assassin's Creed delay in quite some time, if
quite a while,
almost ever. Hit me with those thoughts and feelings, Rice. What are you thinking?
Man, I think listen, I think with there being so much noise, it is inevitable that there are people that will feel a little bit discouraged or annoyed that it is delayed, but I think that it's pretty smart. I think that if you want to polish this, especially a franchise that has just been around for so long now, there are so many different kinds of experiences, and the danger with that is it's just the same thing. And I think that if you are trying to polish these things to create kind of a newer, more fresh experience, that is a plus. All of the internal stuff, that is, I am actually for those investigations, and I think that's very, very important to know, what's going on. So these are all calculated, and I think they're intelligent moves. So will it lose perhaps a little bit of traction? Maybe time will tell. There's a lot of other things to kind of take in and talk about right now. Another samurai game that we will heavily be talking about over the next few months. And so, yeah, I think it's a smart move for a number of different reasons. I'm okay with it. I don't know if I can take the mantle that Court has always carried of being the Assassin's Creed guy, but I love Assassin's Creed. I played this game, and people make fun of me for it, and that's okay. You love what you love, you know what I mean? And so I'm looking forward to playing this game regardless, and I hope it succeeds.
I think you're on to something there. I do wonder how this will affect the game, because ultimately a game can have as much bad press leading up to launch as it wants. right? As long as there's no like insidious shit going on inside of the
Mhm.
studio, if the game comes out and the reviews are positive and there's, footage all over the internet, it'll sell. You know what I mean?
Right.
If this game comes out and gets middling reviews, then I think it could really be like a bad thing for it. Denny,
Yes.
where's your head at?
Yeah. No, I agree. I think like I didn't play Star Wars, but from like what I heard you guys talk about, it sounded like a great game. Albeit some bugs, but it sounds like it underperformed expectation wise. And I think with Assassin's Creed, yes, it's now a very long running franchise. But think back to what was it? Unity? Assassin's
Mhm.
Creed Unity and the mess that game was,
Sure.
right? At
Yep.
launch, and kind of just how Ubisoft has tried to pivot from annual releases to kind of like, a new release every couple of years, like what they did with Valhalla. Um, it's going to be good. I think a little bit of extra time for polish is great. I think it gives them the opportunity to get out of kind of whatever hot pot that they're in right now, and hopefully kind of just be able to focus the press on the game instead of having it buried amongst whatever sort of controversy that's going on right now.
Let me ask you guys this, because I think, I wonder if Ubisoft looks, let's say it comes out February 14th, and let's say it's a hit. Like, let's say it outperforms the metrics that they're expecting for it. Let's say it is more than everything that they wanted from what this title, is supposed to be.
Mm.
Do you think Ubisoft looks at it as, okay, well, the delay helped. We had more time to iron it out. There weren't many, if any, bugs. Like, let us now maybe retool our development cycles to give developers a little bit more time? Or do you think they look at it and go, Assassin's Creed sold well? Of course, it's Assassin's Creed with samurais. On to the next one. Like, how do you think they look at it coming out of it?
Yeah, I'll chime in first. I think I have had the pleasure of chatting with some developers that have worked on Assassin's Creed games, and I genuinely believe that there is a passion behind developing stories that are loosely based on historical events, and presenting an experience that can help a player kind of immerse themselves in something that they haven't before, and also learn about what they're immersing into, whether that's through an encyclopedia or a database or a codex or something. And from who I've spoken to, my understanding is that there is a deep passion to communicate those things through these games. And so, yeah, please.
Let me just hop in real quick, because I think you're 100% right. I think the devs who are on like the ground floor making these games
Right.
really care about what it is that they're making. I think, again, similarly, I've spoken to folks who work at Ubisoft that really care and embody their craft. I'm more worried about the executives up top,
Sure.
who, depending, how they take this message more so than the bodies who are actually like working on it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh
yeah, at the executive level, I would. I mean, I don't know if this is a cynical point of view or is a realistic point of view, but I think that is heavily a numbers game. And so they would lean more towards like, let's get it done. Let's get it done as soon as we can, and let's see how it performs.
I feel you, Denny. Where's your head at? What are you thinking?
You guys have basically said everything I want to say. I agree. I think, there's two schools of thought. One is the passion that comes from the developers, and the other one is from an executive level where passion doesn't get the bills paid,
Yeah.
They're going to look at, I think, and I don't think it's cynicism. I think it is realism. They're going to look at the numbers. They're going to think if it sells bananas, it sells bananas. And it just, I think all it'll do is solidify the fact that they just need to squeeze every penny out of this franchise.
Yeah.
And just keep that money train rolling in. And they won't see the benefit of, getting people hyped for a quality product that has a great, strong experience right out the gate versus funnel it through that door, put out a day one patch, wipe your hands clean of it, on to the next one.
And I think you're onto something here, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like whenever we talk about Ubisoft, and I feel like the kind of general vibe around Ubisoft is they make Ubisoft games, which are specifically, open world, lots of map markers. They do this.
Yes.
They're buggy. They're always okay. I feel like that's the kind of rep that Ubisoft has now gotten. So,
Yes.
And Denny, I'll swing back around to you first. What do you think they need to do? Because this does seem now like more of like a top level, insight into it. Like, what are they going to do? How could this change things moving forward? What do you think they need to do to kind of, habilitate that image if they can?
I think they just need to stay clean, get their nose out of all the dirt. I think bottom line is just put out quality games and make sure that they are finished, they are complete. And honestly, be different. Don't we hear about like development crunch all the time, right? Maybe the best way to do something, and this is just an idea, is be that developer, be that publisher that doesn't push crunch. If a game is delayed, needs to be delayed because it needs to be better, there's nothing wrong with that. I think if you communicate that, because I feel like CD Projekt Red, very, very open and communicates a lot with their fan base and their community, and they've earned a lot of slack, right? With delays when it came to The Witcher and with Cyberpunk, but Cyberpunk's a whole other story when it finally launched. But if it wasn't for the quality of the games that they put out, I don't think they'd earn that type of leeway or get that type of consideration when they announced a delay.
Fair. I think that's a really, really great point. Rice, where's your head at?
Sorry, I was looking at stuff and researching. Repeat your question for me.
I was basically saying that, like, what do you think Ubisoft needs to do to fix their image? I feel like a lot of gamers look at them in a specific way, and I don't think they're like, back in the 90s and early 2000s when you saw that Nintendo seal of quality, you knew you were in for a banger. I don't think they carry that reputation amongst the general gaming populace. You're always going in with an expectation for a 7 out of 10. And if it's anything higher or lower, it's either a pleasant surprise or not much one of all. So what do you think they need to do to change that narrative? And I'm going to bring in Yarden here for a sec, because in the chat, they've got to stop discounting their games so quick. People are just trained to wait now. 100%. Right. Yeah. Again, something people always say about Ubisoft: wait 2 months and it's going to be $30. Right.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Rice?
Yeah, I think there is a little bit of shooting themselves in the foot there, and there has been like a culture developed around specifically the Assassin's Creed franchise, in where before it was more narrative based, and there was kind of a deep and rich story, especially in the Ezio era, and then it was really, I think that it was more focused on the gameplay and perhaps providing maybe some pseudo historical context to that gameplay. So I don't know, the identity has changed over time, but I'll take something from perhaps the most recent Mirage, and they added a game mechanic that has never been done before, and it was this like really cool kind of like teleporty mechanic that was stealth. It was new and it felt fresh, and I for me, as someone who followed the series, that I just saw a lot of content being posted around this new mechanic. And so I think the open worldness, those markers, the viewpoints, all of those things that make up a Ubisoft game, we're going to expect that. So give us something to play with literally through the mechanics of the game to show off to other people. It's like, oh man, Ubisoft be trying this, and I'm about it, right? And make me excited about those things. So it's not just another Assassin's Creed game, if that makes sense, because all of these points are very, 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 very good. That we're expecting kind of a mid-level game because Ubisoft is okay with it. So there has to be some risk taking here.
Well said. Well said. Let's carry this train over onto the next track, because we're going to hit one more story. I lied before we get to the state of play, because today, folks, we got, coming from Alex Sedman and Wesley Ian Poole, The Last of Us Season 2 debut trailer. Joel and Ellie 5 years after the events of Season 1. We got it. They dropped the full-length 2-minute trailer coming back in 2025. We have that confirmed. Because today, is Outbreak Day. Happy Outbreak Day to all of The Last of Us fans out there, especially to Court, a massive fan of Part 2, a die-hard staunch defender of every decision made in Part 2. I know he, originally really loved the first one, and we all love the first one, don't get me wrong. But now, genuinely, when I think of Part 2, I can't not think of Court and his passion for the title. And he's right.
And his claims that it's a masterpiece.
Like elevates the base material to another level.
Absolutely.
I want to know, did you guys have a chance to watch this today? Because I watched it and I am hyped. I am incredibly excited. I love Part 2. And we obviously know this is going to be a multi-season endeavor to get through the meat and of what Part 2 is. I'll pull this up here. I'm not going to play any sound, but I'm just going to let it run here while we talk. I'm hyped. Guys, where's the hype level at?
Dude, well, Denny, I know that you revealed to us that you hadn't played Part 2 yet, correct? Or is it both 1 and 2?
No, I've played 1. I haven't played 2.
You've played 1, not 2. Okay, I think now would be a great time to play 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because man, develop those opinions, bro. This is where the discourse happens. And the show was seriously, like, I was so very reluctant to even like watch that first season because this game is so beloved to the fans, and it created this very cinematic and beautiful immersive experience for players to dive into, and it felt like this was like peak for this type of game. And after watching the show, man, I was like, I didn't think they could do it, but they did it. I was bawling my eyes out almost every episode, waiting for what was going to happen. And there were these beautiful choices that were made in order to enhance that experience for players and for people who knew the franchise, and also bring in new viewers and really introduce them into this world. This trailer has definitely hooked me in, bro. It is absolutely wild that we get to experience more of Last of Us, and I am just so intrigued with what creative decisions they're going to be making with this show.
Big same. And Denny, as somebody who hasn't played the second game yet, where are you at? Did you watch the first season?
Not all of it, bits and pieces.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna just have to like close off the world for like a week and just focus on Last of Us stuff.
Yes.
Right after you
watch it together.
Right after you finish Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes.
Straight into another first party game.
You're not allowed to play any other games.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. My backlog. No, it's fine. I didn't get the chance to even watch this trailer today. It was the worst day to not be on the internet, you know. But no, like just from what I saw right now, it does look great, and it looks just fantastic, and I understand the hype, and I'm ready for it, and I just
what a cast!
Yeah,
what a cast!
Solid cast!
What a cast!
Woo!
Yeah, I'm hyped. I'm stoked. I am ready. Let's transition into the giant conversation.
Hello.
Around the state of play. Danny and I did a live react. If you missed that, go check that back out on the channel. We watched it live and commented as we went, but we wanted to save our real discussion for the pod for this episode because Rice is here. We could talk about it in greater depth. I'm going to rip through this real quick, and then we'll kind of cycle back around and give our highlights and what we thought.
Please.
But with State of Play happened. It was more than 30 minutes. Kicked things off with Astrobot, talking about speedrun levels and the new special bots. We got glimpses of Helldivers, which looked really, really cool. Ghost of Yotei was obviously the big final announcement, talking about bringing back the Ghost franchise. Not a Tsushima 2. This takes place like 400 years later. A new protagonist in a new area of Japan. They're basically taking that like Ghost moniker and bringing it forward. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered got unveiled coming October 31st. Oh yeah, Ghost of Yotei hitting next year. Horizon coming on October 31st to PS5 and PC. We recorded conversation, a whole bunch of stuff. $10 upgrade path for folks that own it. $49.99 US if you don't. So okay. Lego Horizon Adventures got a new trailer that's coming November 14th, so it's just around the corner. The PS5 Pro got a little sting. We got some new Chroma collection.
The Chroma
controllers and plates. We got our October monthly plus games, WWE 2K24, Dead Space, and Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. Alan Wake 2, The Lake House got a new trailer, which is the expansion that's coming out later this year.
Snap.
Very stoked. Arcade Chronicles, an online action game that they're not calling an MMO for whatever reason. Got a debut trailer coming to PS5 next year. Dragon Age got a new trailer. There's a bunch of dragons. Dynasty Warriors Origins got a new trailer. This is coming in January 17, 2025. Fantasia Neo Dimensions coming December 5th. This is the game that was on Apple devices for the longest time from the Final Fantasy creator, one of the Final Fantasy workers. Fear the Spotlight coming October 2022. October 22nd. That's the word I wanted to say. Steve played this back at Summer Game Fest, and it was one of his games of the show. Go find the Creature Cast where he talks about it. He spoke very, very glowingly of it. So go check that out there. Fortnite is getting a controller, one of the ugliest things I've ever fucking seen, and I'm just going to say that. Hell is Oz got a gameplay reveal. This is coming sometime next year. Looking spooky times. Hitman World of Assassination is coming to PSVR 2 in December. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaper 1 and 2 Remastered is coming also December 10th. December stacked. Lunar Remastered Collection coming in the future, spring 2025. Metro Awakening heading November 7th. Again, PSVR 2. Monster Hunter Wilds got a release date trailer, February 28th, 2025, right around the corner, coming soon. Pal World Surprise launched. Despite lawsuits, it is available on PS5.
Wow.
Stellar Butt is getting a collaboration with Nier Automata. We don't know too much more, but there is something coming. I don't know if
I'm
it's
about
just,
it.
Yeah, of course you are. Midnight Walk is coming. Claymation, PS5 and PSVR 2 game coming in 2025. TMNT Shredder's Revenge, Radical Reptiles, the DLC that launched on the day of. Sonic X Shadow Generations is getting a Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie pack with Keanu Reeves voicing Shadow.
Let's go.
Towers of Agaspa is coming in November in early access on PS5, and that was it. So a lot. They packed a lot into that half an hour. I want to hear your thoughts and feelings, Russ. I'm actually going to go to you first. Yeah. I'm going to ask that we bench Horizon to the end of the conversation, where I will bring in another article. So we'll bench Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered for the time being. Let's talk about everything else. So, Rice, how do we feel about the state of play?
Man, listen. I have been harping for the past few episodes about PlayStation just giving us some stuff, some meat to chew on, some future stuff to just be like, oh my god, I'm so glad I have a PlayStation. And truly, like I think that this was good. This was good. I will admittedly say that I wasn't like how I just sounded there, but you were. But this was it. This is what I was talking about. And so a lot of the stuff that was revealed, honestly, I personally was quite excited about. So namely, Alan Wake 2 expansion. I too am very, very curious about Fear the Spotlight. I've heard many people actually talk about this who had the opportunity to play this early. Let's see here. Dynasty Warriors. I know what people say about Dynasty Warriors, but like I've played them my whole life, so I'm excited. Arcade looks super pretty, like very pretty, and I'm really, really stoked about that. Listen, say what you will about the Chroma collection, but I think they look really dope, and I think that people are going to be jumping on different colors and stuff like that. So, man, this was good for me. I think that it was a nice way to appease to players like myself who felt like there was such a kind of drought for a while. So this was a win for me. Absolutely.
I feel you, dude. I think it was okay to good, and then once Yotei was announced, it became like good to great. Yeah, I think they did a good job of kind of speaking to the players. Yes. Denny, when we right after watched it, we kind of gave our initial thoughts, but I think you gave it like a 6.5. Do you still stand by that? Are we feeling better or worse? Where are you at?
I think I'm feeling the same. Okay. Maybe a little bit. I can maybe bump it up to a 7.
Because I would agree with that, by the way.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Because you know what, I was okay. So going into the state of play, I had low expectations. I know we talked about like what we'd like to see, what to expect.
Sure.
Because I mean, I saw rumors about remasters, and besides the Horizon remaster, like I saw, the Order 1886 and some other ones. But I
And that
think,
leaked photo that you sent us.
oh yeah, that leaked photo.
Horizon 1, 2.
Leaked.
To be honest, it appealed to me a lot. I was very excited for a few things. Like I was happy with the remasters that they announced. So with Lunar and Soul Reaver, I'm kind of about, and its art direction. I don't have a PSVR 2, but it's cool that it got some love there. But excited to see Hell Is Us. Excited to see Fear the Spotlight. Fantasian is definitely a game I would like to try. And
That is a Denny game.
Is it right? It is a Denny game.
That is a Denny game for sure.
Arcade, I think I played the original one. I don't remember. So I don't know how I feel about the second one, or sorry, this one, whatever they're calling it. It's supposed to be a sequel.
Yeah.
But no, all in all, pretty solid. I like the Chroma collection as well. Why are they trying to sell us another white shell? That's my only question. Why another white shell?
Yeah, because there's so many third-party ones. They got to get on top of
it. When you called that when we were watching, I was like, oh my god, yeah, like it's not that different than what the stock plates look like.
Yes.
I'm with you both. I think I'd give this like a 7.75 in my mind. Like I think it sits around there. I think there was a lot of games that I'm interested in playing, but a few that I'm like really hyped on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like it was a pretty steady like level of solid excitement with a couple spikes and a couple drops. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it was consistently good. Astrobot I'm obviously hyped for. Yotei I'm incredibly excited about. Like Lego Horizon, I'm gonna play it. The Chroma collection looks cool. I don't know if it's cool enough for me to dive back in after the Astrobot controller and now the 30th anniversary controller, buying 2 more controllers that I don't need for a console that I play by myself. Just to add on to them even more.
Yeah.
Lake House I'm stoked on. Arcade looks interesting. I'm excited. I'm curious to see more. Fantasian I'm stoked on. Again, like it's a game I wanted to play and now it's here. The Fortnite controller deserves to be banned into the abyss. Hell Is Us has me curious. I need to see a little bit more from it before I fully commit because I don't want, if it's like a Souls, if it's a heavy Souls like I'm out. If it's just like an action game, maybe I'm more in. The PSVR 2 stuff was highlights for me because I need a reason to get that thing and dust that thing off. Like I love Hitman, so for me that's very much in my alley. Metro looks really cool. Monster Hunter Wilds I'm super stoked on. In the chat, Jaden, Hell Is Us and the Midnight Walk looked so interesting. Yeah, Midnight Walk looks really cool, a really fantastic art direction and style. Unironically kind of excited about Sonic Shadow Generations, especially that Keanu movie pack. Like I'm pretty in, guys. I love both Sonic movies. I'm excited about the third one. And like
I love Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, dude.
So much. Like I love him as a human being. And man, I think that if I may chime in here. I think that the good that I am feeling is heavily biased towards Ghost of Yotei.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
And the discourse that has happened as a result of what people have seen, I am for that discourse because I love the experience that I had with Ghost of Tsushima. And for more reasons than the protagonist, for more reasons than the beauty that the PlayStation ecosystem really pushed, in terms of the hardware and in terms of, the full package. And we were talking about side missions earlier, Matt. I've rarely played games that have side missions that truly enhance the bigger story. And the side narratives that we got here, I felt were really intentional, and they did enhance my gameplay. They did enhance my perception of the main character. I just want to say to anybody that has a problem with the protagonist not being Jin Sakai, can go suck an egg and just fuck off for a second, okay? Because, like, listen,
no, not just for a second, eternally.
There's
the door. Walk out of it.
Buy the game. It's fine. Whatever. Go play your Call of Duties. It's fine. It's fine. You don't need to play this one because it's not for you. It's not for you. Listen, this is dope. Okay,
Mhm.
this is gonna be so good. The future is female. I am so glad that we are getting a new protagonist, a new arc. Like, listen, we didn't need more of Jin. We got
No.
all of that story just fine in the first game. We can leave that behind. It's time for something new. This is what I was looking for. This is what I was waiting for fucking all year. I'm cussing and everything now
Cussing and
because
everything.
I am so excited. I'm so excited. You know, if there was any reason for me to get the PlayStation 5 Pro, this one is it. This is it for me. So, yeah,
100%.
I said it. I said it.
I am with you entirely. Jin, without getting into spoilers, has such a satisfying arc in the original game. So much so that the expansion is set during the course of the game. The expansion doesn't add on to it. It's set over the course of the original narrative. They have such a perfect one and done in Ghost of Tsushima. Not so much that I want to see the series go away, but so much so that like I am completely comfortable moving on from Jin, moving on from Tsushima, moving on from that threat. They could have gone a couple years forward when the Mongols invade again, but then all we would have had was Jin on Tsushima fighting Mongols again, and it would have just gotten flack for being the same thing again. Taking this, setting it hundreds of years in the future, taking it into a different location entirely, letting them play with the with what you're with the story, with giving them hopefully more creative freedom in the world that they're in. You know what I mean? In the space of in the story that they can tell.
Yes.
Pop off. Erika Ishii is a fantastic voice actor, an incredible performer, and anybody who's giving them shit because they are proud of who they are and kick-ass gender fluid individual can go fuck right off. This industry has gotten way too emboldened to be hateful and to be awful and to be terrible people. The people online are popping off for all the wrong reasons. And it's so funny because the initial interaction was it's gone woke, while some of them were like, no, we have no problem with it that it's a woman. Hold on. It's Erika. Never mind. We have problems because they are proud of who they are. Like, good for them. I'm so stoked for them seeing them. I'm a fan of theirs from Dropout, from Dimension 20 and from Game Changer. So for them to now be stepping, they're in Dragon Age, they're in this. I hope they continue to succeed in this industry because they are exactly the type of person who deserves it, who's been grinding to get there, and who will kick ass to the role. I have no doubt in my mind. So if anybody has an issue with it, like,
let's throw hands.
I hope you're not listening to this podcast because you will not find a space for you here. No. B, I hope that you leave the gaming industry and go, I don't know, collect coins. Do whatever the hell else you want to do in a different space because we don't need you. Gaming is becoming more and more diverse. It is becoming more and more excellent for people from all walks of life, for people from all gender identities, from all races. There are so many cool stories to tell outside of just a white male protagonist. And I'm glad that we're getting so much more of this because that's what we've had for years. It is okay for the industry to move on, and it is okay for you to be left in the dust, you raging assholes.
Tell them.
It's so annoying. It's so annoying. Jaden Rose in the chat. I think changing with the protagonist of the story is such a smart move. You can play with all kinds of diversity for the future of the series. Exactly. They could do what Assassin's Creed does. They can move through times and through space and through areas. They have so much. That caught me so off guard.
Right? I needed to do something. I was feeling you so good, man.
I'm sick and tired of this shit. And I think this game looks fantastic. I have no doubt that it's going to be amazing. And kudos to him. I'm glad that, I'm glad that Sucker Punch is moving with the industry instead of, standing, planting one foot in the opposite direction. So
we gotta grow, bro.
Gotta grow.
Hell yeah, Sucker Punch.
Speaking of growing, let's talk about Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered because its price just grew. Coming from VGC, written by Jordan Midler, PlayStation raises Horizon Zero Dawn's PS4 price following a remaster upgrade announcement. Sony has increased the price of Horizon Zero Dawn following the announcement that it could be upgraded to the upcoming remaster. Until recently, the PS4 version was listed at $19.99 according to PS prices. This has been the case for over 2 years. Now they are bumping it up to $39.99. They are raising it by $20 because of the $49 price point of the remaster, so that the $10 upgrade brings you to the price of parity with the new one. Denny and I feel like aligned a lot when we first saw this. We both kind of came in like, what's the point? And then they showed us, we're like, okay, it looks pretty. Okay, $10 $10 upgrade path. Okay, fine. Discounted price for people now coming into it.
Yeah.
How scummy to turn around and take a game that has been at a lower price point for multiple years and jack the price up just so that people couldn't go get the PS4 version to then upgrade at a cheaper price, especially digitally. Physically, I'm sure you'll still be able to find it in store, but like, Denny, I need you to tell me what you're thinking, dude.
Okay. Okay. Hold on.
Tell him, bro.
I'm foaming at the mouth right now, literally, figuratively, because this is such a Sony thing to do over the last couple weeks.
Yes, sir.
Right? They hit you with some good news, then they hit you with some bad news, then they bring it up with some good news, then they bring it up with some bad news.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, we're on this roller coaster again, and it is beyond scummy. Like, you're already putting out the product. People will probably people who don't have Horizon Zero Dawn will go out and buy the remaster, so you're going to get your $49.99 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, fine. There's people out there are budget gamers out there that are going to try and find a good deal. And now you've kind of alienated them to make a quick buck. Because really, how many people... This is that one game that I feel like almost everybody had. I think for a long time at point, it was bundled in a console with a PS4, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It was actually on Plus.
And it was part of their days of play thing. Even like they just gave this game out for free digitally. All you had to be was own a PlayStation 5 and you can get it.
Yeah.
So there you go. Like, what's the point? Everybody already has this game in some way, shape, or form, and those who don't, this might not even appeal to them.
Yeah.
And what I'm curious about now is that if I go to a GameStop tomorrow, is that price change going to reflect? Like, can I still go find a physical copy for $20 out in the wild if I can, if I can run one down and then just pay the $10 upgrade, or is this going to be an issue, across the thing? Denny, I have a good friend of mine who echoes a lot of your views when it comes to physical media and the way that we should be able to kind of keep this stuff in perpetuity moving forward rather than, losing it at digital. And he basically was like, this is exactly why we need physical. Because, if you're able to go out and buy the copy for half price physically and then just upgrade for the $10, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Yes.
So I just think this exists, and that's fine for new players, for players who want to experience this differently, for getting people who, like you said, Danny, most people probably own this game in some way, shape, or form by allowing them to just pay the $10 and play it again if they really want to. That's great. But how many people are going to be buying the PS4 version to then upgrade to the PS? It just feels like such an unforced error and such an unnecessary thing to do that just puts a bad taste in people's mouth about a game that they already had a bad taste in their mouth about. It's just, I don't get it. Rice, where are you at on this remaster?
Oh man, from the very beginning, I was just like, why? I personally don't need this because I played this day one, and I've experienced it through the PlayStation 4 era and then the PlayStation 5, and so this is something that I really didn't need. And I love Horizon Zero Dawn. I perhaps even after stretching myself have understood why, what changes were made to the game in terms of the remaster. So my thing is, I don't care enough. I really don't care enough to get it again. And so now when we are talking about price points and the way that they were communicated and kind of the wish-washiness of this whole situation, yeah, dude, this is gross. Like for real though, and I'm just looking at some threads here and the hilarity of some of these comments. Like, Sony got to find a way to rescue themselves from the Concord financial loss. People really talking shit, and I'm like, hey man, that makes sense. Like, tell us you lost money without telling us that you lost money. You know what I mean? So it's a money grab. It really is a money grab. And like you said, it is for a specific kind of person. And I think it's the person that has never played this game before and is looking to get a PlayStation 5 Pro, but it's definitely not for me. It's not for me.
Yeah, dude, I feel you. I'm just checking GameStop really quick because I want
I
to
can't even
see.
find it on their list. I'm checking too.
Oh no,
No, I could be
yeah,
looking wrong somehow, but I
no,
couldn't
no,
find it.
I don't see it either.
All I
Complete. Let
see
me.
is some Funko Pop.
Yeah, same. Um, so yeah, I can't find like a physical, an easily, adjustable, an easily grabbable physical copy. So it'd be what it be.
Time
Let's
to
almost just
scalp this. I was kidding.
my copy is worth at least double than when I bought it, which is half prices when I already bought it. Let's hop into some questions. Edward Varnell at the Boss Rush Network at that retro code writes in saying, I did enjoy the state of play this time and looking forward to a strong 2025. Yes, I'm getting a PS5 Pro, and my question is, do we think Xbox and Nintendo will give Sony a run for its money in 2025? Will Sony do the same to them? As a Nintendo fan and podcast host, could 2025 be a hot year with the craziness of games like it was in 2019? Last but not least, why do you think Nintendo gets praised for the remasters and Sony receives complaints when they do it? Is Bloodborne the Wind Waker for Sony? So let's kind of break his questions down, with this first one being,
Yes.
do we think Xbox and Nintendo are going to have a strong 2025 alongside Sony? Is Sony going to have a strong 2025?
Denny?
I think Nintendo might. I don't know too much about Xbox. Like they're not in the news too much, or at least I don't pay attention to their news because nothing exciting's coming out from them. For me, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously Nintendo right now, there's a lot of hype around whatever their new Switch is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's definitely going to drive a lot of momentum for them. Will they give Sony a run for their money? No. I think
No.
I've said this before. I think every manufacturer like Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo have created their own kind of silo with what they provide as their source of video game or their source of entertainment, right? So Xbox is probably great for online and games as a service, and Nintendo is just the fun, quirky one. And Sony is your, high AAA title, single player experience. And if everyone stays in their lane, it's hard to give someone a run for their money when you're not coming in there and trying to take their lunch and you're staying in your own lane and doing your own thing.
I think that's a fair point. I do think there's going to be a lot of competition for eyeballs next year. I do think we're going to have a particularly strong year across the board. It could be like 2019, 2018 levels. I think it could be. Jeff Grubb and the like are saying that Yotei isn't the only first party game coming from PlayStation next year. If GTA 6 manages to hit the Switch successor, Xbox has a pretty stacked lineup as well. They had a really strong showcase this year, going into what's coming out next year. Next year could be huge. It could be one where we have, banger after banger. If Nintendo can replicate the first year that they had with the Switch in the Switch 2, then that's going to be massive. If Sony comes out with 2 or even 3 first-party titles, yeah, you're going to have some heat. If Xbox is able to kind of, deliver on some of the promises that they've been making, like Fable and some of the, like South by Midnight, like a bunch of the cooler, smaller stuff that they've been teasing, yeah, like next year could be huge. I feel like a lot of this console generation has been on its back foot because of COVID and the longer development times and the bigger budgets. And I feel like next year we're going to start to see, after what was a relatively quiet in terms of first party couple of years from across the board, I think next year we could see stuff really start to snowball. Yard in the chat, Nintendo's probably going to blow everybody out of the water next year. There's a very good chance that they will. If they can replicate year one with the Switch, they will have a very successful year next year. But I do think Xbox and PlayStation are coming to play next year.
Yeah. I would say it's kind of a combination of both points here. Is that each faction, each console is truly kind of it's hard to answer the question run for their money because they're focusing on different things. With Xbox moving away from exclusivity and kind of trying to get more games in different people's hands, that's a goal or whatever. Sony's still about the exclusive experience, those first party games. Ghost of Yotei is just a big hit contender. Astrobot just becoming the mascot of Sony. And Nintendo has, I don't know, I've always viewed Nintendo as like, Nintendo sells, so they're going to do whatever the fuck they want. But that said, like, it's Nintendo has always kind of excelled in the handheld world, right? And so each contender really they are kind of focusing on different things. So that being said, it is going to be a big year for all three, because there are people like ourselves who dabble in each one of these factions. And it'll give incentive to those who maybe just own one thing to get into the other stuff. So it is going to be a big year. We're going to see a lot of things to be excited about. I think that after this state of play, I have been pulled out of this very cynical place of the drought in a lot of different regards. So 2025 is definitely oh man, I was gonna say something so out of pocket. I was gonna be like, yeah, 2025 is gonna be a hard on for sure.
It will be, dude. It's gonna be a very dense, solid, girthy year. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
A lot to kind of wrap your mouth around. And this last question was, why does Nintendo get praised for the remasters but Sony catches complaints? I think there's a very good reason for this, and that's because nobody had the Wii U. I think straight up though.
No, for real.
Sony is porting games that a lot of people. PS4 was one of the top selling consoles of all time. Sure. A lot of the major first party tentpoles, a lot of people played. So to get those experiences again, it's nothing new for people who already owned a PS4 who now have a PS5. The Switch, for a lot of people were looking forward to remasters from the Wii U because there were quality games on there that nobody played. That's all true. 12 people that owned one bought those games. They needed to sell those games again. Mario Kart was fantastic and sells ad nauseum. There's so many titles that were stranded on that system that people wanted to play and did not have access to. So I feel like there was a lot there that people wanted from Nintendo, and Nintendo delivered largely on what people wanted.
Yeah, dude.
So I think that's the long and short of it. I think they had games that people wanted to play that were stranded on a console they didn't have access to. And Nintendo gave it to them, so why complain?
And to your point, like waiting that long, like there are people that jumped from the not the GameCube, but some people did the GameCube and then the Wii and then the Switch. So the Wii U was just kind of lost in their experience. They didn't get to experience that. And so playing Wind Waker, for example, played that on the GameCube. And the fact that it came out on the Switch, I was like, "Whoa, that's big."
Wind Waker didn't come out on Switch.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Skyward Sword.
Which was Skyward Sword. Sword. Yes.
Yeah.
Mixing up the art styles.
Yeah.
You're right. It was a huge jump to miss out on, is what I'm trying to say. And so people were excited about that. Yeah, it was a long time coming.
Let's round out with our final question coming from Jaden Rose at JRRose 1005044427 saying, "Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing great and staying safe. You as well, my friend. Thanks for sticking out with us. How do you feel about Ghost becoming a series instead of a direct sequel? What else would you like to see from the Ghost series? Will you miss Jin?" So I think we kind of talked about our thoughts and feelings about the thing. But are you gonna miss Jin? Like let me ask you that. And if you could, do you want Ghost to stay in Japan? Like let's kind of talk about what the future could be, and are we going to miss Jin? Because for me, I will miss Jin, but I feel like I had closure. I'm happy to move on. It's not one of those things. I think he's an awesome character, and not seeing more of him, sure, I would always like to see more of him, but I'm happy with what we got from him. And I'd love to see them, go out of Japan, go all over the world, make this a series that is truly all over the place, because I think that could be dope.
I think that the beauty and the wonder for me with the Ghost experience was about the internal struggle of ideals, and really just honing in on what it meant to survive as the character, and what it meant to really fight for something that mattered. A country, a nation, a person, a family, all of these themes just kind of mixed into one. And so I don't think we need to stay in Japan in order to communicate stories that are that deep, right? So the idea of whatever Ghost was and what that meant to X, Y, and Z in that world, that's what was important to me. That's what was impactful. And so, man, like I loved Jin's arc, but like Matt said, we've gotten that, and I think that even he as a character felt like he came into himself and understood who he was and what he needed to do.
Well said. Denny, I'm excited to talk about this with you once you're deeper in Tsushima, because I feel like we got to give you some time to catch up a little bit.
Well, yeah, I need to catch up, but given like how you said this, like obviously no spoilers, but given how you said the story has closure, or his arc has closure, right? I think it's great that they're making a franchise out of it. Here's all I'll say. If this could be like Assassin's Creed, but better, right?
Ghost, yeah.
Right? Because like, look, you've got the core Ghost fundamentals down, I'm sure by now, but then you can expand on it, and you know, because it's not one overarching story, overarching story, you don't, you know, fend off new players to the experience, which is great. And you can have these individual experiences, and anyone can start from anywhere and go back or go forward, and just don't do the same thing an Assassin's Creed did and make like one overarching story over 6 fucking games.
Yeah, give us like this anthology, like give a different chapter and a different story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's all we need from it. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima already is the best Assassin's Creed game, so as long as they quote, but they keep doing that, that's fine.
To quote our friend Court, you know, he said, yeah, he says Ghost of Tsushima is the best Assassin's Creed game.
Followed by always saying The Last of Us Part 2 is better than The Last of Us Part 1.
Absolutely. He doesn't stop talking about it.
And a question that I'm just going to handle before we kind of close out here. De Niro Kun Gaming at De Niro G writes in saying, do you think Bryce Boy will finish Dragon's Dogma before GTA 6? Nope. Hell has a better chance of freezing over. That brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for sticking with us and hanging out with us, everybody. We appreciate your time so very much. Denny, where can people see and hear more from you when they wanted to find you?
You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Instagrams, where I post a lot of stuff. So you can find all of those on Linktree/DennyRaccoon Gaming.
Go find Denny in all the spots. And Rice, my boy, TV, where can they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. There might be a surprise stream on Twitch this weekend. Twitch.tv/Rice BOYYY-TV. Same thing on Linktree. My friends, keep following on socials. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out this fall. So thank you so much for tuning in today.
Stay poppin'. Make sure you follow both of those wonderful individuals in their respective places. You can find me over on X at @Matt_SilverSoul, and you can find my words over at consolecreatures.net. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. We'll be back next week. Stay safe, stay well, and if you're somebody who's upset about Yotei, get fucked. See you next week. Bye.